Alright, what's going on, guys? This is the new arithmetic today, coming at you with a tutorial for the texture packer and what it's used for, how to use it and your code, and how to make the best of it. So, what is the texture packer? Basically, the texture packer is something used in game development to take a bunch of files, pictures, whatever, and put it into one big picture. So you have uh, let's say you have a bunch of characters or whatever. You basically make one big image of all the characters. It's like a separate combined texture packer, that's packed full of textures. Why do we use this? Well, basically we use the texture packer to cut down on basically to increase resource efficiency in our game. So instead of loading 10 images of characters, now all we need to do is load that one image of all the characters, and within our game, we can actually just cut out the region when we need to instead of loading it another file. It's just a waste of resources. Also, sometimes if you're using OpenGL 1.0 and I think 1.1, I'm not sure, you would have to have an image that's in a power of 2. So you would need an image that's 32 pixels by 32 pixels or whatever, something powered by 2. So if we put it into a texture packer, then we can put it whatever resolution we want. And the reason is, as long as what you're loading is in a power of 2, then you're fine. And when you're using the texture packer, you have a neat option to go ahead and make it a power of 2. So let's go ahead and start out with that texture packer, looking at it, how to use it. I believe gdx.texturepacker comes with, what do you call it, libGDX. However, I put mine on the desktop. I'm not sure if I got it from libGDX. So if you don't find it within your libGDX folder, what you can do is you can go to Google and you can put in libGDX texture packer. It's the very first one right there, and this goes over it as well. And you can download it right here from the left hand side, so that's pretty convenient. Now let's go over how to actually create a texture packed file. As you can see, I already have a bit here that I was playing around with. Let's just go ahead and create that texture packer. We're going to create a new pack, and we're going to say the new pack is pack of images. Okay, pack of images. Input directory is really your file of all those images that's going to be put into one image. So I made mine in images to pack, and basically that contains an arrow and a stick figure. Yeah, I was a little bit lazy. And then I'm going to just output this to my desktop because then from there I can just easily see it. You can leave the file name blank, that's perfectly fine. And then on the bottom you see here there's a bunch of options. So like force power of 2, PNG or JPEG, padding, which padding of 2 is actually recommended. There are reasons for it. I'm not going to go over it. Just if you're ever playing around with padding, it's good to have at least 2. So let's pack select it or pack them all. It's no difference because we only have one. So that's done. As you can see, there's our lovely stick figure and arrow. Where are they? This is the one that I just created. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that and paste it right into the assets folder of Eclipse, and as you know, you got to go into the Android folder. I'm just going to paste that right into assets. I should probably delete the older ones just to make it less confusing, so let's do that. Yes. Yes. There should be an option here that's like, don't show me this message again. Okay, so there we have pack of images.pack and pack of images.png. Let me just show you really quickly how this looks like before we dive into some code. This is the whole image together. Stick figure and arrow and a power of 2, and it's one big image. And this is the oh no, I don't want that. This is the actual code for it. So you tell this file to cut out the region of arrow, and right here it has some info on that arrow picture, and it's going to cut that out when you need it. And then right here we have the stick figure image, and it's going to cut that out when you need it, when you call stick figure, of course. So let's go ahead and start coding that. Hopefully it works. So what we're going to need is we're going to need an asset manager. Private asset manager. I'm just going to go ahead and call that assets. We also need a sprite. And finally we need a texture atlas, which we're going to call atlas. Now I've really noticed that my coding is so slow when I talk. I'm really not this slow usually. Okay, so let's go ahead and initialize this. Assets will just equal new asset manager. Manger. Sprite we'll get to later. Now with the asset manager, before we go on, we need to go ahead and load those files. That's kind of how an asset manager works. I might make a whole video on it later, but basically an asset manager just is used in libGDX. Really, if you're using a different kind of framework or whatever to make games, then we already went over all the theoretical stuff about TexturePacker. This is now just kind of playing around with it in libGDX. So this is all libGDX, and libGDX has something called an asset manager to make disposing and loading of assets super easy. You don't have to code as much. It's really nice. So I like to use the asset manager. So we created the asset managers. Now we need to load it. So assets dot load, and then go ahead and go with that file name, which was right in images. So we say pack of images dot pack. Oh, which needs to be in quotations. I always forget that. Pack of images dot pack. Spell that right. Cool. And then here you want to put texture atlas dot class. What's wrong? Oh, okay. That's not a quotation mark. Now we also need to tell it to finish loading. Assets.finish loading. And is that it for the asset manager? Yeah, that should be it for the asset manager. So now we can go on to the atlas. Atlas is equal to assets dot get. Come on. Yeah, there we go. No. Yeah. And we're going to get the same file, pack of images dot pack. Now we have our atlas, and this is the whole dang image, you know, both of the arrow and stick figure. So from this we can start making sprites, which is awesome. So sprite is equal to new sprite, and then inside we're gonna say atlas dot find region, and we can now go with the stick figure, or we can go with the arrow. We're just gonna go with the stick figure. Again, quotations. Wow, I'm on a roll today. At least I think it's quotations. So now, if you remember from prior videos how to draw it to the screen, now that we have our sprite, what we're going to need now to draw it to the screen is an orthographic camera. We also need a sprite batch, and we're going to call that batch. Import that, and let's go ahead and initialize that right up here. Whatever, right up here. Camera is equal to new orthographic camera. And I'm just going to go ahead and say 100, 100. And also batch is equal to new sprite batch. Okay, so now we have everything we need, and we can go ahead and start rendering it. Batch.setProjection matrix, camera.combined, batch.begin, sprite.draw, batch.end. Okay, that's everything we need to draw the stick figure to the screen. Now, if you can remember from the orthographic camera, the whole screen is going to be 100 pixels, like 100 meters. And our stick figure is, I think, 80 by 80. So it's going to take up almost the whole screen. So let's set a different size for the screen. I mean, the sprite. So we're going to say sprite dot set size. And we can go ahead and say he's 20 width, 40 height. Okay. Still going to be pretty big, but it's not going to take up the whole screen, thankfully. Let's go ahead and make sure this works now. File, save all, main, tester main 2. Yes, there it is. Again, the bottom left corner of the image is the origin, so that's why it's right there. So let's go ahead and just show the arrow so I can show you again how it's done. So we're going to create a new sprite again. Private sprite arrow. And then, oh, okay. I'm going to say sprite arrow equals new sprite. And again, I hope after this video you guys can take this code and play around with it yourself. You make your own texture packer files or whatever, and you play around with it. Here, this is just for some good practice, because it's helpful knowing these when you're going to be creating your own game, obviously. So again, atlas.find region, and that is going to be arrow. Pretty self-explanatory there. And we just want to set the size. Actually, I don't think that should be too bad of a size, but let's set the position so it doesn't overlap with the stick figure. Sprite.set position. Blah, blah. Hopefully this video doesn't get too long. -50 and -50, so it's going to be at the bottom left. And now right here we can say sprite arrow dot draw, and I just noticed a problem right here. I said sprite.set position. Whereas I want to do that. Okay. And again, you have to make sure that whatever you're drawing is always between batch.begin and batch.end. This should be perfect, and then we can go ahead and conclude this video. Oh my god, it's way too big. That's what happens when you don't resize it. I thought it would be fine. It is not fine. Sprite arrow dot set size. Let's go and set a size of like 10. No. 5 and 20. Ooh, no. 20 and 5. That's what I meant to say. And okay, that should work out very well. Great. Now it's really small, and since the arrow is black, it has a black shaft. Now we can only see the tail of it, but the arrow is there. Because when you load images, it's going to be transparent if it has the transparency still there. Okay, I only have up to 15 minutes for this video, and it's getting quite long anyway, so I hope that the texture packer is something that you understand now. Basically, you take a bunch of images and you pack them into one image, and this just makes your game rendering much more efficient. And you can also use images that are any kind of size. You just want to make sure that you make the texture packer within a power of 2, and then you're fine. You can use it on OpenGL 1 for sure. Where I think like 10% of phones still use that. So, if you don't have to, have an image that's, well, basically you can use power of any then for your images. What am I saying? Yeah. So if you learned something, please subscribe. I'm going to be coming out with more videos, and thank you for watching. Au revoir. If I can end this video. Wait. No, I can't end this video. I'm gonna edit this out. Oh my god. Oh my god.